Back in elementary school, the young Amy Klobuchar had a teacher who opened up a world of possibility.
I had this teacher, Miss Callanan, in fourth grade, who was so great about trying to make you be something bigger than yourself, basically. And we would give speeches and presentations, and she would sit at the other end of the class, I still remember, and yell, "I can't hear you." Like a lot of girls back then, it wasn't, didn't think you were going to be president, actually. I still remember in high school, having, the goal was to have long hair or a haircut like Dorothy Hamill's, to get really tan in the summer by going on your roof in a box with foil, which of course is really bad for you, so no one should do this. Yeah, and marrying your high school prom date, which I didn't do. My prom date was gay, actually. Turned out to be gay.
Klobuchar is quick with a joke, but she's known as a get-things-done kind of senator. While she started in politics early in life, she realized the true impact of public policy when she became a mom.
What really made me see the value of public service and getting things done was when our daughter was born, and she was really sick. And she could not swallow, and it was a complete shock. We didn't know what was going to happen. She was born just a few weeks early, not that early. And so they didn't know if she was going to live. They thought she had a tumor. They thought she had some kind of genetic disease. And so she was in intensive care. And I got kicked out of the hospital. Back then they had those insurance rules in 24 hours. And so they kicked me out of the hospital. And I said to my husband, I bet this wouldn't happen to the wife of the head of the insurance company. And I then joined, she was getting a little better, and I joined forces with some of the people in the legislature, and I testified. And we passed one of the first bills in the country guaranteeing new moms and their babies a 48-hour hospital stay. And I learned two things from that. One is that if you talk about really embarrassing things in front of legislative committees of men, like episiotomies, they're like, okay, I don't want to deal with it. And the second was there was people, while no one could say they were against the bill to guarantee a minimum of 48 hours, they were trying to delay it. And so I brought a bunch of pregnant friends to the conference committee, so they outnumbered the lobbyists. The legislator said, when should this take effect? And it's supposed to be August 1st, and they were trying to get it a year delayed, the lobbyists, and my friends said now, and that's what they did. They made it for when the governor signed the bill.
Klobuchar's daughter is now in her 20s, and she's a regular at her mom's side on the campaign trail, as is the senator's husband, John.
He's 7.5 years younger than me, actually. He doesn't look like it, but he is. When we met, we went on our honeymoon to visit my relatives in Switzerland, and I was 33, and he qualified for a youth year rail pass.
How did you meet?
We met at a a bar. No, it's not. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. No, it was a bar that's no longer in Minneapolis, and it was through friends, and it was just, there was a political conference, actually. Walter Mondale was hosting it, and I was in this thing, and we started talking, and he was really interested in it. I worked for Mondale at the time, and so then we met, and that was fun, and then we had some mutual friends, so they got us together at a pool hall. And so that was it. And then we went on our first date where we were going to double date with this friend of mine, and I was supposed to invite someone for her, and that guy had a girlfriend or something. So the three of us we went to Wayne's World. It was really stupid, which it was funny.
Speaking of funny, Klobuchar has been able to find quite a bit of humor in her time in Washington.
It's my first day in the Senate. I went and got salad and soup, and I put it down. I'm ready in this beautiful LBJ room, and I'm ready to dive in. And the only one at the table, was all men, was Patty Murray, the senator from Washington State. She jumps up, runs around, grabs my arm, and says, "Amy, you took the entire bowl of Thousand Island dressing, and you're about to eat it." And I thought, from a northern climate, I thought it was wild rice soup, because it was, glampy. And so then I said, "That's what we do in Minnesota. We eat the Thousand Island dressing." There's horrendous burdens, and there's burdens on the citizens, and it's your job to make life better for them and to improve people's lives. But if you don't enjoy it, people know you don't enjoy it. If you don't enjoy being with people, then I don't think you should have the job, because a lot of this is bringing people with you, and whether it is with stories or humor or getting to know them personally or empathy for their situation, even if they are on the other side of the aisle, I think that's really important for how you're going to be able to govern.
She's also experienced her share of heartbreak. Her dad was a celebrated sports writer who covered the Minnesota Vikings, but had a drinking problem.
Is there something in your life you can point to, a reason that made you want to run for president?
Yeah, when I look back at my life, I was not anointed to run for office. My life wasn't always completely easy. My dad struggled with alcoholism my whole life growing up, and he had 3 DWIs by the time I got married, and that was when he was given a choice, jail or treatment, and he chose treatment, and it changed his life. But that really affected me. In his words, he was pursued by grace, and it has really shaped a lot of the work that I've done, both as prosecutor and then as in the Senate, of making sure people get treatment and working on things like the opioid epidemic. And he is now 91, and he's in assisted living. He got late onset Alzheimer's, so it really didn't affect most of his life. But even with that, he has this amazing set of jokes and humor that he recalls, even though he may not remember who people are. So about a year ago, he introduced me to a nurse at the place and said, this is my daughter. She holds an obscure job in the federal government. So he has this bank of things that he still remembers.
Klobuchar is an avid cyclist and also enjoys hiking. She hit the trails here in New Hampshire earlier this year.
And then we went hiking in that Pac Monadnock. Did I say it right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, and we did that, which was hilarious because I had read in the guidebook, and it's Easter. Easter was a nice day that day, and I said, okay, we're gonna go this harder route, get exercise and everything. And I get there, and there's a ranger there in the afternoon, and they say, well, the road, you can't drive up the road, and I think he meant you can walk up the road, but he says you can't walk up, you can't drive. But I go, oh no, we're not using the road. So we go on this hike, and there's ice and snow still up there, and we're just scrambling to get. It's really, really hard. And so anyway, we get to the top, and there's all these senior citizens who have walked up the road. And they're like, hello, hello.